Not so long ago, I did a review of this thing, the Quest Pro, and also the additional £50 earbuds. And, well, I'm sending it back. And I'm going to tell you why. There are some positives with the Quest Pro. It's well made. The pancake lenses are awesome. It's relatively comfortable. I wouldn't say it's incredibly comfortable. And yeah, that's about it. That is about it, really. It's well made. It's kind of comfortable. The lenses are great. That's about it. That's my experience of it, having used it extensively, both for work and playing games, and I came to the conclusion of those sort of 3 points. Now, let's get to the reasons as to why I am returning it. It's just not worth £1,500. It's just not. There's no way. I'm pretty sure this cost Meta, Facebook, whoever, probably near that to make it. I'm sure it did. But is it worth to anyone, whether you're a consumer, whether you're somebody sort of actively interested in VR and how that can sort of impact your life, or whether you're also a enterprise user and you want to have your employees use VR? Don't use this. Not now, at least. The thing they're pushing this for in terms of enterprise is the whole AR thing. And yeah, but no. I tried a lot of augmented reality things with this, and I tried to get it to work. I tried to get it to set up for this room, just really couldn't. It was too much of a pain in the ass. And then I tried a lot of the sort of pass-through-y stuff, and then eventually I just got tired of it. I just turned it off. And then you've got its capabilities in terms of, the controllers are great. That's one thing, that's another positive. The controllers are really, really good. I think in lots of ways, other than the lenses in this thing, that's one of the real sort of shining stars to be taken from the Quest Pro, is that the controllers are exceptional. But I really don't think the departments are talking to one another. Whoever decided on the low resolution of the pass-through of the AR aspects was an idiot. It needs a lot more. Whoever decided not to have the LiDAR chip or whatever it was that they've removed that enables the Quest 2 to actively understand or measure out a room effectively was an idiot, because you have to do that manually, and that's a complete pain in the ass. And I still didn't manage to do that. Whoever decided to not have a head strap as well as this was an idiot, because what happens is although this is initially comfortable for, like, I don't know, maybe say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but after a while what ends up happening, and it has nothing to do with people who said, oh, it's because of the shape of your head and so on and blah blah blah. No, not really. It's because all the pressure is being taken on the top side, on this bit of your forehead, and you then have to sort of 15 or so minutes in, and then every sort of 10 minutes or so you have to sort of take it off for just a few seconds, just to let this bit of skin breathe. Because again, whoever designed this bit, the idiot, used a like a plastic leatherette like texture, and I understand why, so it can be cleaned and so on, but they could have used something that was a lot more comfortable than that. And it just causes just just a real uncomfort. There's real discomfort, and you end up with this really weird. You'll know in your workplace who's been using the Quest Pro. Trust me, you'll know. And that's after a relatively short period of time. Alleviate that in some way. It doesn't need a top strap, just to sort of balance it out, balance out the weight more from being heavily focused on this part. So that's the comfort. It is, even though they say, it is kind of well made, but mine's kind of creaky. The sound is pretty quiet. When you're playing a game, you need it ramped up, which is the reason why I got these £50 earbuds, which are a complete con and a rip-off and uncomfortable. They don't stick to the thing they're meant to stick to. They keep coming off. As you can see, they've got these things that sort of attach to the groove. I don't know whether you can see it. Sort of there's like a groove here. It's meant to attach to those, but it doesn't, because when you put them in your ears, it just pulls it straight off. When you dock this thing, you don't know if it's docked or not, because you can't hear it chime because these are plugged in, and when these aren't plugged in, you have to fanny around with it trying to get it on the dock properly, because these pins are so tiny, and the pins on the base, which you can see behind me just there, are so small that it's such a fractional movement off, and you think your device isn't charged, and you don't, unless you're looking at the light. That's the only way that you're going to see that it's charging, if you've got the buds plugged in. What else? The little rubbery things, how they connect is cool, but the fabric, or the sort of latex, plastic, rubber, whatever it is they're using, is really kind of uncomfortable, and you can feel them at the side of your face constantly. And I've not necessarily got a big face. We've got a big mouth, but not a big face. And as a result, I cancelled the full facial thing. And after a while, you kind of don't really notice, when you're playing in a game, that you need them, really, because they're so uncomfortable anyway. What else? It's just too much. I'm really struggling. I'm kind of partly trying to justify it still, because I do like certain aspects of it in terms of when you're playing games. It is just brilliant. It beats the Quest 2 without there's no competition between the two of them. But you can get a top of the range Quest 2. We'll get 3 of them, in fact, for the price of this. And a bunch of games. I just really feel they've rushed it, because they know they want to get the Quest 3 out next year, and they don't want this coming out next year sort of taking some of the magic away from the Quest 3. That's my feeling of it. And as a result of that, and just having some of that development, some further development of it, they've settled on too many, oh, that'll do, rather than that's exceptional. And for £1,500, it should be exceptional. It isn't. And I want to like this more than I do, but I cannot justify, and I know I'm not the only one, I just cannot justify a VR headset that's got the same chipset as the Oculus Quest 2. Essentially, this is the plus version, so it's 50% faster. Ooh. But the games you play, they're no different. And I really wanted to like this. And I'm glad I got this from Amazon, so I can easily return it. But I just don't recommend it. I don't recommend it for enterprise. I don't recommend it for a VR enthusiast. I don't recommend it for anyone that's loaded with cash and just wants to throw it out the window and buy the next biggest tech thing. I just cannot recommend this. I suppose the question I asked myself was, if I hadn't have pre-ordered the PSVR 2, would I still have kept this? And the answer would have been no, because the Quest 3 is coming out, and I'm sure I can wait around about a year for the Quest 3. I imagine that will come out round about the same window, November next year, or in time for Christmas. And I imagine, and I believe, that a lot of the technologies that are in this will pass through, no pun intended, to the Quest 3. Admittedly, I don't believe the controllers and how they work with their cameras and everything, which is probably the biggest thing to take from the Quest Pro, that the controllers are exceptional. I don't think that is going to come over to the Quest 3, but the lenses most certainly. Probably, I would imagine a lot of this hardware probably may, but in a cheaper, more mass-produced form. So there you have it. I'm really quite sad about it, because there's still part of me that wants to keep it because it's the shiny latest thing. But I've got a PSVR 2 coming in February. I've only played just a handful of games on this. I don't use it for work. I tried to use it for work. I just couldn't. Just not just the pass-through thing. If we ignore the pass-through thing, it's just a whole comfort aspect of this. That sitting there with this on your head for an hour, this got very sore. And I know there's a lot of this, but it got very sore, and and in lots of ways I was trying to make this work rather than this work for me. And I think that's the biggest thing that any enterprise is going to have with this, is that, you know, it was me trying to make this work to justify its use rather than it working for me to then make me want to use it, because it doesn't connect with the majority of all the services that any enterprise or business will use. You know, sort of currently, you know, and it's meant to next year connect with Microsoft, but currently doesn't connect with Google, any of those, Apple, so on. You know, any of the services that you may use in terms of cloud storage services, whatever, just do not work. You have a handful of apps that are very kind of niche and very strange. And I mean strange in terms of just their simply the nicheness. I know that's probably not a word. And it just seems very strange. Which points to the fact that they've pushed this out too soon. Disappointed. So anyway, it is going back, including the headphones, because they are dire. They are dog poo. And yeah, if you're thinking of buying one of these, just wait. Really, you know, this is not going to make you work more effectively. Really isn't. Put it this way, if you've got a Quest 2, try it with a Quest 2 first. And if you're finding that your work is becoming better through the, you're very white, aren't I? What is that? Sorry, I've got the lights turned up too high. Yeah, try it with the Quest 2 Pro first. If you find that your productivity goes off the scale with that, then, you know, knock yourself out and buy yourself one of these. But yeah, try it with the Quest 2 first. If you haven't got one, borrow one or get one from Amazon. But at the moment, don't buy it. Just do not buy this at all. Okay? All right. Thanks. Bye.